Hi, I'm Super Sue Finneron, and this is Get Your Shit Together. Of course, SHIT is an acronym for Success, Health, Inspiration, and Transformation. And today, I am joined by the lovely Liz Wootton. Awesome to have you, Liz.
Thank you, Sue, for having me.
I'm so excited
to be here.
So I'm going to tell the backstory on why you're here. Liz posted something on Facebook the other day, and it was an article about an activity hangover for people with chronic pain. And if you watch this channel at all, you'll know that I, of course, have chronic pain, and that my attitude is always find a way, just get it done, suck it up, buttercup, move on. And so my initial response when I saw Liz's post was to write like, I totally disagree, this is wrong. And then I thought, no, stop it. You know, you don't know what she's going through. You don't know what those people are dealing with. And maybe you should have her on and discuss it on the show. And so I've known Liz kind of professionally through Lyft startups in the Comox Valley. And I always see her as a very outgoing, very prepared, very charismatic person. And I thought, I gotta get to know her better. And I wanna know what her issue is. And thankfully, she was open to all that.
100%.
Awesome. Yeah. So, Liz, you've got what is termed as hypermobility. Can you describe what that is for us?
So for me, I just have quite loose joints. So you might call it double jointed, or you might call it bendy, flexible, whatever. Yeah. I don't have, there are certain syndromes, people have hypermobility syndromes which are caused by some kind of medical condition. Mine is not like that. I just have loose joints. And what happened with me when I was pregnant, my ligaments around my pelvis and my lower back kind of stretched, and your ligaments don't, once they've stretched, they don't go back. So there's more movement in the joints around there, and that causes pain.
Right.
So.
And is it constant?
It is pretty much constant. If I sit completely still, then it's not. I might not feel it, right?
Totally practical.
But as soon as it's right. Like if I'm like that. But if I sit too long, then that will aggravate the pain. If I stand too long, that's going to aggravate the pain. And when I move, certain movements, like even a small movement in my lumbar spine, will usually be painful.
Is it like a sharp kind of like?
It depends actually. So I'll have some points, like the other day I lifted something heavy and it didn't hurt too badly at the time. I was like really careful how I lifted it, and I thought I was okay, and then I was walking the dog, and every time I put weight on my right foot, I got a sharp pain on that side of in my low back. Sometimes it's kind of dull, sometimes it radiates down to my hip. Sometimes it's more achy, sometimes it's sharper. It changes.
Yeah. As I think a lot of people with chronic pain, I think it does move around our body a fair amount. Yeah. Not only our body, but it also affects our mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In a fairly...
Now, I always like to ask, what was your get your shit together moment?
Probably, so I have had chronic pain for almost 16 years-ish.
Yep.
It crept up on me kind of slowly. And for the longest time, I was really like you in the kind of like, just suck it up, push on through, get stuff done, no pain, no gain kind of thing. And after a while, that really started to tell on me. My pain had got worse, and I was really starting. It was affecting me emotionally and mentally quite seriously as well. I lost my dad, which I think was a contributing factor too. I got really, really low, and I pretty much thought I am at rock bottom. I am really not myself. I was depressed. I cried all the time. I
cannot imagine that. Knowing the little that I know of Liz, I can't even fathom it.
Right, and it was very much a private thing. It wasn't something I did in public. I put on my mask to be out there and doing my thing.
UK upbringing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I went to acting school, so I kind of had that ability. But yeah, in private, I was like a different person. And one day, my husband said to me, "You have to go to the doctor. Like you have to do this. Like that's just, I'm not taking any no for an answer on this. And I thought that would be a complete waste of time, but I agreed to it because he told me I had to.
That's a good reason.
Yeah. So I think that was probably the moment, you know, when I look back now, even though at the time that didn't feel particularly defining, I look back now and I see, yeah, that moment was defining. Things got worse before they got better after that point.
As they often do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I had, you know, from that moment, I was referred to a chronic pain clinic, which, you know, overall that's been a really good thing. But my initial experience with them was shaky. It wasn't quite what I had expected. But I was given access to a psychologist, which was, you know, really difficult. Like, that's some of the hardest work I have ever done on myself, ever. But really worthwhile, really worthwhile. So yeah, that whole process was quite momentous.
Yeah. And do you think, you know, going along with the mind and the body and dealing with that psychologist, do you think it helped the pain?
Well, now, not immediately. So did it help the pain physically? Probably not.
Okay.
Has it helped me to think differently about my pain and to approach not just my pain, but my whole life differently? Yes.
Okay. So what was the biggest takeaway from that work?
How I talk to myself. I've gone from being like push through, suck it up, ignore it, pretend it's not there, to first of all being able to talk openly about it, which was something I didn't do for the longest time. I would kind of brush it off if I was in pain and people could, you know, see it on my face or whatever. They'd be like, oh, you okay? Oh, yeah. Just, you know, I just have this issue with my back and it's, you know, I'll be fine. To being able to tell people, actually, I have chronic pain. And that's important because apparently 20 to 25% of Canadians have chronic pain.
Oh, I have no doubt in that.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely no doubt.
And so, you know, for me to be at a point where I thought, well, if I talk about it, maybe other people can talk about it. And if I can talk about it, maybe I can help somebody understand chronic pain a bit differently. That actually, there are ways to make things happen in your life so that you're not stuck doing nothing or feeling like there's nothing you can do, that you can still achieve things, but that you can approach it in a way which is much kinder to yourself. Yeah. Right, where you don't have to aggravate your pain in order to get something done. So for me, you know, going back to that activity hangover thing, I find, so great example, at the New Year, I had the opportunity to go over to Vancouver and visit with my niece, who was there she'd come over from the UK. And so I went over, I caught the ferry, I caught the bus, we walked around Gastown all day, we were, you know, like, it was great. I
can feel how I'm feeling already.
Super awesome, right? And I got back on the ferry to come home and I was like, wow, I am sore now. Because I'd been walking around all day and sitting in uncomfortable pubs and stuff like that, right? And I got home really late. It was a really early start. It was a really late finish. And then I had work booked in for the next 2 days. And I was on the floor. I was not just in pain, but I was so exhausted.
You couldn't function.
I couldn't function properly. And I got through, you know, and I did it, but it probably took 2 weeks for that pain flare to die down.
Wow.
After that.
Wow.
So, you know, you do the activity, the pain flares, and if you don't rest properly, that pain flare lasts for a really long time. So, and that was another defining moment. That was when I recognized, oh, there's this, like, I didn't have a name for it at the time, but this activity hangover thing. So if I want to be able to do these things, it's not, I'm not telling myself I can't go to Vancouver for the day and have fun with my family.
Yeah.
I need to plan in rest time.
So now you would go and stay overnight.
Yeah, or I would take the next couple of days off to rest
and not go to work.
And you know, have that time just being quiet, or I would do quiet work, not out there with clients, or you know, so it's about changing and planning a little bit more around your pace of how you do things, and when you do things, and the types of activities.
Yeah, and that's very true. You know, I know that I can't go to the gym and golf in the same day.
Right.
I've tried it, and Dave ended up having to carry me to bed.
Right. Yes. So there you go.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you do. But I think I always grew up having a fear that I was going to miss out. Do you know what I mean?
Totally relate.
Yeah. And so I always want to do everything, but unfortunately our bodies say, mm-mm.
Right. And I think, so the interesting thing is how negatively we perceive this idea of, you know, needing to rest, or, you know, you see it as, well, I might miss something, or if I mean, the worst self-talk that I had was, you're worthless, you're pointless, you know, if you can't do things all the time, if you can't achieve things, you can't be productive, you're not worth anything to anybody. That's what I was telling myself in my head.
Wow.
It's pretty horrible. And I would never speak to anybody else that way, right?
No.
That was
But we always are our own worst critics, right?
Right.
And you know, we talked about this earlier. I think that Brit upbringing, of course you're from the UK, my dad is, and it really is all about, you know, if the horse kicks you off, get back on. You know, you don't really have anything to cry about. Deal with it. Stiff upper lip. Don't talk about it. So much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repression of emotion and all of that stuff. Yeah, people aren't comfortable with you talking about these things. You just keep it to yourself.
I know, it's just, but it's funny how it manifests later on as we figure it out. And thank goodness we're figuring it out.
Right. Right.
Yeah. We kind of talked about how it affects your life, and you just take a different approach to scheduling and planning.
I do, and that's something I'm learning all the time. You know, I haven't perfected it yet. I'm still in process.
As we always are.
Right. I think being able to, when you stop talking to yourself in that horrible way, right, and you're able to be a little bit kind to yourself and listen to your body and listen to what your body is telling you, then you can actually start, you know, all of those skills that we learn about tracking and measuring and right, those things we do those in our businesses.
It's very true.
Doing those in our businesses. If you can do that with your life, then you can help to manage your pain a bit more effectively. So something I've been doing for some time now is logging my time and how I spend my time. So, and it's not just about time management, it's a really useful time management thing, but it's about understanding my energy levels. So I have the same number of hours that anybody else has in their day, but I only have a certain amount of energy.
Right.
So I need to figure out how to budget that energy in the most effective way. So looking at it in terms of, you know, okay, if I've spent 6 hours today working and 3 hours cleaning the house, and, you know, like which of these activities are energy nourishing and which of them are energy depleting?
The house cleaning is definitely not nourishing.
And you learn to prioritize. Yeah. Right. It's about you know, if you only have a certain budget, then you learn how to make the most out of that budget. And that's how you have to look at energy when you have chronic pain.
That's very true. And of course, Liz and her husband, tell us a little bit about your business, because I always like to get in a plug.
So we run a consulting business. We work with small businesses on people stuff. So team building, hiring the right people, and we're very values based. So you know, it's all about finding ways for businesses to run with their budget emotionally in the most effective way. And when you've got people who fit your values, then they're going to want to do their best for you and that kind of thing.
It's so true.
So true.
Bottom line, it always comes down to the people.
It really, really does. And when you've got the right people and you're functioning as a team really effectively, it's kind of like magic happens then, right?
Yeah. I will put a link into Liz's business webpage as well. Now, have you done any coaching around chronic pain and the scheduling and all that sort of thing?
Not specifically, no. And I'd be really interested to kind of explore that a little bit more, because I think, interestingly, some of the self-coaching that I've done with the chronic pain is building on skills that I've been using in other ways for a really long time. Identifying just self-awareness and understanding your thought process and your habitual patterns, and then how to change those. Those are things that I work on with people in businesses. Those are, but they're equally as applicable to chronic pain type situations and a whole bunch of other things too. So my philosophy on anything is that we're all human beings first. Before we're entrepreneurs, before we're workers, before we're parents, we're human beings first. And that's a great kind of unifier. We're all driven by similar types of experiences and needs and behaviors. So those same techniques will apply in so many different fields.
Yep.
And there is, through some of the work that I've done on myself, I've done a lot of journaling.
Yes.
A lot of journaling, and there's some really interesting stuff in there which I'd love to put together into a book someday.
Well, there you go. So, I think so. If you want Liz to write this book, please comment down below.
Please comment. I would love to.
Send her a message, and really appreciate having you here today, Liz. Thank you so much for being so open and sharing your story. Huge lesson for me is that self-talk. Be nice, be kind to yourself. Because I'm really good at kicking my own behind. So someone has to. Anyway, thank you for watching Get Your Shit Together. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you do, don't forget to hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Please comment, please give us a thumbs up. No thumbs down, just thumbs up. And let us know how we're doing. Thanks so much, and have a super day.